Everyone knows construction has some of the most brutal accidents ever. Like, have you ever done your onboarding for a factory warehouse job and you have to sit through like the whole 5-hour presentation of PPE and safety hazards? That's just how bad this shit is, bro. In construction, the most. Especially shit falling off buildings and impaling niggas, or like that giant stack of bricks falling off, squishing you, bro. That shit happens more often than usual. Anyways, we got a video by a talking hat, like the original creator, like me. Subscribe, please. Let's get into it.
Watch your step. Across the United States are large industrial iron foundries that use molten iron to produce things like engine blocks, frames, and structural components for cars and buildings. At the Caterpillar Mapleton foundry in Illinois, molten iron is melted at nearly 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit, a heat hotter than lava and hot enough to obliterate human flesh in an instant. For the workers at this factory, the foundry floor is a place where one wrong step means certain doom. So it's of utmost importance that each crew member moves with caution 100% of the time.
Lord.
On June 2nd, a 39-year-old man would be working his 5th day at his new job. He was tasked with retrieving a sample of molten iron for testing. He spun down.
Bro, that seems like something that would be high level. No? Why would you hire somebody and they're not even done with their first full week of work and you have them? Yeah, buddy, this shit over here melts human skin in an instant. Hotter than lava. Hotter than lava. The same shit that took out a whole ancient Greek civilization, Pompeii. And I need you to bring back a sample for me. 5 days, bro. 5 days. I don't even think he got to clock out. That wasn't his first full week. Retrieve molten lava. Come on, bro. We gotta be real, bro.
A giant metal wheel that caused the molten iron to pour out of the vat. Afterwards, he leaned over the boiling hot iron. He got close, like really, really close. And then liquid molten iron popped and exploded all over his face. I'm kidding. He successfully retrieved his sample of iron and returned back to his manager. Unluckily, however, he'd somehow slip on the stage and partially fall back into the molten vat of iron. He tried to escape, but it was impossible. Half of his body was in, half of it was out. And before you know it, in an instant, he was consumed by the roaring orange abyss. Witnesses described what happened as beyond comprehension. He passed away instantly, but not all of him was consumed. Part of his body remained on the steel deck for the coroner to retrieve. Emergency crews rushed in, but it was already way too late. There was no saving him. The foundry quickly shut down, investigations were launched.
At some point, there has to be like a hospital code of like, if someone's too fucked up, please don't try to save them. Because living after that accident can be worse than just dying that day. Like I hear stories of like motherfuckers surviving the most brutal, like fucking car comes flying past, catches out of their face, rips their face off. Let me die, please. Don't you dare try to save me in the back of that hospital truck. Don't you dare try to save my life. I just got my arms and legs amputated. Don't you dare put on that respiration mask on me. Don't give me no morphine. Don't sedate me. Don't nothing. You want me to live the rest of my life as a fucking human chicken nugget, bro. No arms, no legs. Could hardly speak, bro. We gotta save it. Don't you dare, bro. Don't do it, bro. That has to be a law, bro. There has to be a law.
And then questions arose. How could a man with so
Guy got into a car accident. The flames melted his skin off. Please, mercy, kill me, bro. Please don't recover my charred body and try to save me. How would I ever live normal after that? Just thinking about that shit, no.
little training be placed so close to one of the most dangerous areas of the factory? It was literally his 5th day on the job. For his colleagues, it was not the first time they'd seen such horror. Just a year earlier, another worker had passed away at the same plant after a similar fall. And now, yet again, a worker's life had been cut short in the most violent way imaginable. In factories like these, safety isn't just a guideline, it's survival. When molten metal waits beneath your feet, there's no second chance. One misstep and you're gone in an instant. The cable incident. It was just after noon at the Whitworth sawmill in East Texas. The air was thick with the grind of machines, the smell of fresh-cut pine, and the heat of men working hard to keep the mill alive. But inside, 4 men were locked in a struggle with a jammed wood chip machine. To free it, they turned to the heavy steel cable that wound its way around the gears. They pulled, adjusted, and worked the line, hoping to break the machine loose. And then, in an instant, disaster struck. After working the cable for what felt like forever, they had stretched it out to the point that it extended itself like a bow and tightened back on one of the men. Upon pulling the cable and stretching it back out again to free the man, it finally snapped. The stored energy released with the speed of a bullet and the force of a guillotine. It whipped across the work area with deadly precision, striking all 5 men at once. The impact was catastrophic. 4 of the 5 were decapitated instantly. The 5th man got lucky. He was thrown away to the side and the bones in his leg got shattered, but thankfully his life was spared. For the men who witnessed it, the scene was indescribable. One moment, their co-workers were fighting with some stupid jammed machine. The next second, the floor was silent and each of their bodies stood upright.
A giant whip, bro. Decapitating your co-workers. How do you live a normal life after being in something, or not hearing something like that? Being in the incident. A giant metal whip. Slicing everybody near you. Their blood on your face, bro. Their bones flying out, hitting you. Looking over to see half their head missing. Who even knows? Where's the supervisor? Where are the supervisors in these situations, bro? Why are we not using lockout, tag out? Why is the wood chipper still on? Now hold. We need OSHA cards. Everybody needs. You know what? Hold up. Let me show you something. Let me show y'all something since y'all think I'm playing, bro. What's that shit say? OSHA certified. Maurice Short. OSHA certified. I wouldn't make half these mistakes. Nigga, I'm stamped.
In their same positions, with a crucial detail missing. The ground was littered with helmets, sawdust, and bodies. When EMTs arrived at the scene, they were obviously only able to save the man with the injured leg. The sleeve incident. In a cavernous factory in Russia, cameras were quietly watching a scene that would later horrify the world. On the floor stood a massive horizontal lathe. The machine was giant, and its steel cylinder was rotating with an unstoppable force. It was a machine built to carve through metal itself. A Russian man tasked with running the machinery froze upon seeing it. For a couple of moments, he would just squint deeply at the machine, closely inspecting it. His posture was casual, and then from casual, it grew curious. Although it's not entirely clear what it was, the man noticed something wrong with the machine, but after inspecting it, he went about his business. And then he came back because his curiosity got the best of him. Something was obviously wrong with the machine, so he went in for another look. It was then that he realized that he had been inspecting the wrong thing all along. His gaze shifted from the machine to the ceiling above it, and he was astonished with what he saw. He was right. There was a bit of a leak dripping down from the ceiling onto the machine. A sigh of relief came from the man as he became relieved that he had figured out the issue. As he began leaving to retrieve items to fix the leak, he'd quickly realize another, more concerning issue. His sleeve was stuck. And just like that, in a heartbeat, everything changed. The man was yanked into the spinning machine. His body slammed between the cylinder and the base, whipping around with such force that he looked like a rag doll in the grip of a hurricane. The lathe spun faster and faster.
First off, how are you not stronger than the clothes you're wearing? What material of sleeve do you have on where you have this machine rotating thousands of pounds of force, has on your sleeve, rips it, and you go flying with it? Ain't no damn cotton, ain't no damn caviar, definitely ain't no damn polyester. What fucking money? That nigga had on a vibranium shirt. Imagine the strength. Just think of it. I'm significantly weaker than what the machine is. Imagine 4 NFL linemen, guards at that, grabbing your shirt at once, pulling it, and your shirt not ripping off of you. But imagine something 100,000 times stronger than that. These niggas are getting unlucky as fuck.
First his shoes would fly off, then pieces of his flesh, then chunks, then his limbs. And before you knew it, he was turned into a mist. The camera captured it all. There was no time for rescue or hope of survival. Moments later, another worker in full protective gear entered from the side. He froze at the sight he saw. Red trails, shredded remains, and a stained room. He lifted his hands in complete frustration, then dropped them in despair. The unfiltered camera footage spread across the internet, shocking millions before being digitally wiped away. Safety experts pointed out the obvious in this case. Don't wear loose clothing around machines like these, and always keep a safe distance between them. The roller incident. It was just after noon at a factory in the Saint Laurent borough of Montreal. The facility specialized in recycling plastic. Massive machines churned endlessly, crushing and shaping materials with unstoppable force. For workers, the rhythm of the rollers was just another part of the day. Clock in, crush and churn, go to sleep, repeat. Except for this day. On August 8th, 2016, at around 12:15 p.m., a 56-year-old employee noticed a piece of plastic jammed in the roller machine. Determined to keep the line and the rhythm of his job moving, he climbed up a ladder and reached in to pull it free. As you could guess, while trying to perform this extremely dangerous task, the rollers would pinch his finger. He'd scream in pain and try to yank it out, but in a split second, his hand was caught and effectively crushed. Unfortunately, that wouldn't even be the worst part. The rollers dragged him in, pulling his body into the unforgiving gear-crushing machine. First his hand was sucked in, then his arm, then his head, and then his chest. His torso became wedged into the entry space of 12 centimeters before co-workers rushed to stop the machine. But by the time it halted, his body sat deeply jammed in between a space no bigger than a clenched fist. Insanely enough, however, he was actually pulled out of the machine alive. Despite his body being crushed
That's what I'm fucking talking about. Let me die, bro. You gotta let me die. No human should ever be in a space, squeezed to a space tighter than this, bro. You gotta let me die, my nigga. Holy shit. Nothing on him, works anymore, bro.
Broken beyond repair, emergency responders rushed him to the hospital in critical condition, but there really wasn't much doctors could do. The man was literally flattened, so sadly, he succumbed to his injuries shortly after. Behind every phone, car, or laptop you use, there is a person. A person who spends anywhere from 8 to 16 hours a day working tirelessly in a factory full of dangerous equipment.
That makes me appreciate all the shit I got now, especially the shit from China where the kids are doing this with no PPE, bro. Damn. Squeeze through a roller. What would that feel like? Buddy was alive from the moment he got squished in between the thing up into the hospital for a doctor to see him and survive, bro. A little tiny roller, that's fucking small, bro. Smaller than that. Squeezed through there, everything flattened, head, brain. They said halfway through his torso, his heart, bro. How the fuck?